Uh-oh, spaghetti-o. Here's our ceiling fan. It's all pulled apart, isn't it? Well, this is kind of how yours is going to look like when you pull it out of a box. And remember, we had the short extension on there from before. We got to take that knuckle off, and we're going to use this long extension. Okay, you go to the store, and it's really important that if you're going to get a different extension, you take your existing old extension to the hardware store with you, because they have these in different sizes, and the owner found that out. He didn't take this with him. He got an extension rod like this, but it was almost an inch in diameter. This one's about 3/4 of an inch in diameter on the outside, and so I had to make some phone calls and find out where to get that one, and man, it matches perfectly, and that's what we're going to install. Here's the trims. This is the housing trim, and this is one that comes down on top of the motor that pops over on that. Okay, but when this ceiling fan was installed before, they had short wires here. Actually, most ceiling fans come with long set of wires, and then that way if you have an extension pole, you've got enough wire for that. But this was just installed an 8-foot ceiling with that small rod, so the wires were cut. Now we're going to put the 2-foot long extension on there. How are we going to do that? These wires, what are we going to do? Wires are going to be right inside this pipe. Well, we're going to take some little sleeves and we're going to crimp on some other wire. See, we got some wire here. I'm going to strip this back. We're going to put these little crimp on things on there. Then we're going to shove this up here. We got a blue wire here too. I'm going to take this wire nut off, and that's just going to be left in case they ever take this down or something. This is for a light kit. We're not installing a light kit. There's no power to this. This wire goes and it terminates in the bottom of the ceiling fan, and there's just another wire nut like this in here, so that blue wire is not even connected to anything. We're just going to shove that right inside the pipe. And when we do this, see, the black and white wire are almost the same length. We're going to cut one back a little bit, so when we put the sleeves on, we don't have both sleeves right at the same level, so that, you know, the thought was maybe we have an issue getting our wires through here all the way down through there if we have those two crimpers side by side, let's say. I think we could still fit it in there, but we're not going to take any chances. We're going to have one a little bit lower than the other, and then we're going to slide that through. Okay, so that's my next step. Now you might be wondering, okay, all fine and dandy, but how do you attach these? See, there's a metal goodie inside of there, halfway this way, halfway that way. You strip the wire back, and you're going to crimp this on. And see, here's a little tool here. You can strip your wires here, right there for the right gauge here, and you can strip it there, and then you can crimp it right there, see, like that. You put this in there like that, and then you smash this down, and then that divots that and holds the wires tight. You know, pretty cool, huh? Yeah, you can do that. I know you can. Got Mr. Markey, the owner. He's hard at work. He's putting these little crimpers on here like that. And you strip the wire, and you read the directions, and it's in on the crimpers. And we got these at Ace. This is 22 to 16. He's got a little crimper tool there, and it says to strip the wire back 1/4 inch, which we did, and I measured that. Now he's put the wire in there.
Come back.
And he's got some crimper tool here. He's got to smash that down.
Okay. Okay. Let's see if it stayed good and tight. Okay.
Okay. And this crimper tool has 2 different crimps on it. One big one for certain gauge, and then a smaller one. You got to get something like that, and I'm going to use that when I install my little wire crimpers in my light switch box. I'm going to try using that instead of my pliers this next time.
It's also a stripping tool too. You can strip
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I see that. And then see, there's holes here. Do you know what those are for? You take a screw, and if your screw is too long, you put it in there, and there's threads on one side of this, and you thread it right through there, and then you can cut it right off,
yeah.
and then you take that and you unscrew it.
Yeah.
That's
They're
pretty slick too.
They're made for 1024, 1032, 832. Mostly real small screws for electrical work.
Yeah, 1024 is pretty much standard. 1032s, 832s. So that's kind of a slick, nice little tool right there.
Only, I think they're like $12.
12 bucks. Okay. All right. So see, we made the black wire a little bit longer than the white wire. So when we put it into the rod, we don't have both of those together. You see. Okay. So he's going to put the black one on there now, and that's going to extend our wires. And we'll probably end up putting some electrical tape around that too. Not I don't know, just for a little insurance policy. I don't think we really need to, but we've got it, so we're gonna use it. Yeah, see, there's a metal sleeve inside the plastic sleeve, and you have to make sure you're crimping down on the metal where the wire is. So, you know, just take your time with it, check it out.
And then when you get done, pull on either side to make sure they're tight.
Yeah.
They don't slip
Okay,
back
so
out.
now that's extended our wire. That's pretty slick. Okay, so we're going to put tape on there, and we'll get ready to slide our extension rod on there.
Tape again? Okay.
Here's the other little piece of tape. We're just taping this. Okay, you remember we got a blue wire. This is a short wire. It's not connected to anything. We're not installing a light kit. That wire, there's no power to it because it's not going to be hooked up to anything. And then down in here, it doesn't connect to anything. This is where the light kit would go if you installed a light kit. And that blue wire just has a wire nut on it down here. We're going to leave that alone. We're going to slip this right up into the extension rod, and we're just going to leave it. Okay, we ready to slip that extension rod on there? Okay, so on this rod, we've got a little pin here. You see this pin slides through there like that, and there's a little cotter. Here, Mark, you want to hold the camera for me? Mark's going to be a camera person now. You see that? There's a little pin here, and just a little cotter pin, and I'm just going to pull it out. There it is, that little pin like that. Okay, now this thing slides out of there like that. I'm going to put that off to the side. This was our 2-foot extension, so now we're going to...
Do we need to put the scutcheon on there, Mike?
Oh yes, we do. Well, we can do it after.
Can we slide that over the
yes,
top?
Yes,
Okay.
It slides over. And so I'm just going to kind of feed this in here like that. Is it coming out the end yet? There it is.
1, 2, okay.
Okay, go ahead and pull that, Mr. Markey. He's trying to do it with one hand. See how that goes right there? Because we didn't put those together. Had we have put them together, you know, side by side, it would have been a little snug of a fit. So that was good. That was Mark's idea. I'm going to take the blue wire. We're just going to go shove that in there like that. Bye-bye. Okay. Now, I can hold this up. Now see, there's 2 set screws here, and they're loose right now. And I'm just going to unscrew those flush. We'll mess with those later. That's to keep our motor assembly tight after we get this on here. And so now I've got to fish this pin back through here at the right place through the wires, and hopefully I can get it out the other end. Come on, there it is. See? The wires are in there. I take my little cotter pin like that, and I push it right there. That's it. That's all that holds that right there. Now see, this seems like it's a little loose, but these set screws are gonna get taken care of with that. We're gonna take this housing, and now I've got to feed that on here. You gotta make sure you put your housings on. Okay, so now that goes on there like that. Hey.
Uh-oh. I was going to say.
Okay. And that's gonna fit like that. Now see, we can slide this up, and these set screws I'll tighten down later. Okay, right now we're just gonna kind of leave that. That's gonna keep this from moving around, and that's one way to keep your fan from wobbling right there. Okay. Okay, so now what do we got now? We've got to put our knuckle on there. Okay, so I've got to take this knuckle off. Before we do that, I've got this housing. See, that's going to fit up there like that. See, and it's going to set there like that. Okay, so that means I've got to put this on next, right? You look at your directions. All ceiling fans are not created equal. There's lots of different little gizmos and gadgets that you got to make sure you've got all in line. And if you don't put it together the first time, read the directions and you'll get it. Okay, so now I've just got that down like that. I gotta get my Phillips screwdriver. I've got to take this knuckle off of here. And this knuckle is attached by one little set screw right here. And see, there's a rod in there. Once I get the set screw, first I got to loosen the set screw. Okay, that slides. Ooh, look at that. Get this in here and do it slow. Okay, the set screw is loose. Okay, so now this slides down, and then this pin is just loose. That's what holds the whole weight. That fits. You see, there's a little notch right in here, and that's where that pin fits. Right like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take this, and I've got to slide this knuckle on here. Like that. And I put the pin through there, and then I got to line that up. And you want to make sure, see, this pin slides. You don't want it too far over on one side or the other, because see, there it's on, but this isn't up all the way, is it? That's because this has to be slid over and fit. That fits nice and snug as a bug in a rug. I wish they would do these a little bit different, because this is just a plastic knuckle. They should have another set screw, I think. There's one set screw, and lots of times this gets loose, and when this gets loose, your ceiling fan wobbles. Then you have to get up there where it is and tighten it down again. Okay, there. Look at that. I think this is all ready. We got it just like this, and that's how I'm going to hang it. I'm going to get up in there and hang it, but I can't do that until we put our pancake box on, and that's my next step. So let's go into the other room and get her done.
What are you going to do?
Okay, now see, usually when you get this brand new, this is going to be in a box, and then I just set this here like that. Now I can lift this up like that, and I can mess with these set screws if I want. See how this wobbles like that? That's because when this is up, this motor goes side to side, and you want it to fit straight up. So when you're on the ground, you just lift up on it a little bit, and you want to try to hold that straight. And now I've got these set screws on here, okay? So those two set screws, I'm going to go ahead and attempt to make this straight. Once I get it up there and it's hanging, I'll probably loosen this a little bit to make sure this is nice and straight. But that's the idea with that, okay? So I'm not going to do this too tight. I'll have to remember to get back up in there. Okay, enough of that. Ready to install the pancake box on the ceiling.